Okay, I'm working on a Jordan Peterson series, and I got a video ready run for Jordan Peterson for sound. I've got moon photographs that I downloaded from online, plus a couple of my own that I'm going to be looking through over the next 10 to 15 videos, probably I'll do with the moon. And then I've got another monitor plugged into that laptop so that I can go in and look around. I'm going to shut the light off after I show you this. These are the cropping tools that I make. They're made out of paper, cardboard. Okay, you don't have to go and spend thousands of dollars and billions of dollars, I should say, to NASA or to any of your other heroes to do this. You can just simply download some moon photos from the internet if you want, if you don't have a telescope. And what you're going to use the cropping tools for is for cropping out images. It's just like I'm showing you in the clouds and everywhere else. It's the cropping tool worked out good. Now I used to do this cropping tool in a diamond shape, and figuring that the builders were triangular and they show themselves as triangular, so I was thinking but I was wrong. And what I found after during the Harold Cott series, some people were ranking me out. This guy Wolfie was ranking me out about what I was doing, so I made these cropping tools, and they're the crescent cropping tools, and I learned a lot of things about the moon that I didn't even realize. So the crescents actually fit, and there's a reason why the moon's crescenting through our sky to keep time for us. Uh, every day, and this is how the Aztecs were obviously doing it as well. They knew the crescent, they knew which images were going to be shown as the moon was coming through our sky, uh, and on what day and all that. So I'm going to be able to show you some of that. I'll do that for you in this series. And I'm also gonna. I got a filters on. I got a green filter right now on there. This already has a blue tint to it. Whoever took this photograph already put some blue in there, but the imagery is the imagery. I've got some moon photos that are reverse telescope, some are standard telescope. I want to show you the imagery is always the same. I'm going to try to show you there's no backside to the moon. There's a lot of things you can prove for yourself by going and looking at the moon for yourself, rather than counting on Elon Musk or any of these other lying motherfuckers. And that's what they all are. And Jordan Peterson was just on another video that I had playing, and I just want to mention because I'm really getting aggravated lately, and I hate doing videos when I'm aggravated. I always get frustrated, then I move on to the next series, and I'm trying to just get through with this series. Who knows? Maybe he'll end up being a real person. I don't know. Anyways, he just came on, and he's got a new video on there from The Wire about Jordan got suspended from Twitter, and he refuses to go in, and he tells all about it. Now I could play that video, but I know better. That video, this is pretty interesting, Jordan. That video that you got there, if I was to play that in the background, I would also get suspended from YouTube. I would get suspended from YouTube. How do I know that? Because doing the Candace Owens series, that happened to me on the Michael Oziak channel. I was playing videos of Candace Owens talking with other people about the COVID stuff. That's why I don't even say COVID anymore. I was talking, so that wasn't not even me on that day. Well, actually, there was three videos. One of them was her talking to Joe Rogan, one of them about COVID, and then one of them was her talking to someone else. Oh, the doctor who did the COVID thing. And then when I brought that video over to the Miguel Everyone channel, I don't know if it stood over there. It might have. I think it stood longer over there. But then what happens is sometimes weeks and months can go by too, because I noticed that something I did under the Harold Cott series, which was like a year. What was that? Like a year earlier. Um, That one had some problem with it. I don't even know what the problem was, but it had some issue, so I got a strike on that as well. So, um, So, anyways, what I wanted to make clear about this though is I cannot even play your video on the wire because you, number one, you talk about in detail the things that you said that got you thrown off of Twitter, that got you suspended from Twitter. Now, those exact things should also get you thrown off of YouTube, and it might over the next few days. That's why I'm saying I'm gonna feel it out. I'll see if it stays up. If it does, I'll do another video on it and I'll include it. But I don't think it's gonna stay up. And also, this proves that you're being used as a straw man. So maybe you don't know that you're being used as a straw man, but you're being used as a straw man, Jordan. I say that because just same way that we saw Trump goes up on stage fighting with Hillary Clinton and then threatens to put Hillary Clinton in jail, right, if he wins the election. How many thousands of people got behind that, right? This goes both ways, is the point I'm trying to make. All this straw man, pretend to be angry at the other side, pretend to hate the other side, pretend to never even understand that the other side's been there the whole fucking time, and only now you're seeing it, right? All these different things. And yes, they're definitely coming out with more and more and more every day, because that's the whole point of crushing the system. They're going to totally crash the system. But this was purposeful. This was known. So half the population thinks that those people are heroes, right? Then the other half of the population, this is just on the political scale, because they divide, because we can then once we divide by political status, we can divide by monetary status, we can divide by color, race, ethnicity, we can divide by sex, sexual orientation, we can keep divide. We can keep dividing. Heliocentrics versus geocentric versus flat earthers versus, so they're all wrong in every which direction. Doesn't mean that I have the truth and I'm the only one with the truth. No, the truth is there for all of you. I'm just sharing it with you. So I'm not a prophet. I'm not a special person. I'm not anything great. I'm just giving it to you. I'm offering it to you. Go look at it. Go look and you'll see it all. And then you'll have all the answers that you claim to be looking for. Another example of some of these things. Okay, you got the CIA comes out and has their agents file a lawsuit against Alex Jones, right? And then they win this $1.7 million, whatever, a couple $100,000, whatever it was. I don't know, because it was hearsay that I heard the story that they won. And I laughed and said, what a fucking joke. CIA suing the CIA. And we're all supposed to be, right? This is straw men. They're set up so that people, if for people like myself that are out there making videos, we know now that we're restricted from saying almost anything. On YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere. So that's why I'm surprised you even got this wire video on YouTube, because YouTube does not allow certain things as well. I'm getting shut down on YouTube all the time. I was well aware that it would happen like that for years. I've been very careful about how I'm saying things. I try not to say too much. I'm trying to show everybody visually rather than even talking. So this way I can save myself a lot of time and aggravation, because I don't like doing this shit anyway. Okay, that would be another example of these straw men that they're always setting up. And now here you are setting yourself up as a straw man now too, Again, so yeah, you're against Twitter. No shit. Yeah, everybody's against each other. Everybody's divided. Yeah. Yeah. And then Elon Musk is supposedly going to buy Twitter, and really it was all just about calling them out. And then he's got to pay a $2 billion deposit. He don't get his deposit fee back or something shit like that. It's all a bunch of garbage, man. They're all fucking in on it together. They're all involved in on it together. And it's very obvious that they're all in on it together. Once you step outside all the boxes I keep telling you to step outside of, you keep stepping outside them, and then when you look back at the old box, you're like, holy shit, man, I can't believe I bought into any of this stuff. This is fucking ridiculous. Their lies on all fucking sides are full of shit. But you can't go by my word, right? I'm just a human, another fucking liar, just like all of you. So don't go by my word. Go look for yourself. I'm showing it to you. I'm showing you how to go see it, and then when you see it, it. I'll try to use some biblical terminology. It will all be explained. It will all be explained, not with words, not with human words. Don't look for the. I mean, look for everything you want to look for, but I'm saying, don't expect to find uh, human influence anywhere in the true creator's word. If you see human influence, that's how you know it's nothing to do with the true creator or the false creator or the false creator slash creator. That's how you know, all this sex gender shit, all this transsexual shit is all explained in what I'm trying to show you. If you go look at the system, it will all be explained. So then all this division of everybody being angry at each other because this one says this and this one says that, and we've been eating the poison for all these years. So how do we know it wasn't the poison that's been doing all this? Or how do we know it was not a deformity or something bad that we did? And how do we know that God's not making us pay? And how do we know? You know what? All the questions all go away. It all gets answered. I swear to you. Anybody that's coming to my videos, it will all get answered. You have to go look. You have to go look for yourselves. It's the only way to do it, because otherwise it's not. I'm telling you in the same breath, do not believe anything anyone tells you anymore. Do not believe. They're all lies, and that sounds drastic. I understand that. It sounds really drastic. And you're thinking, oh my God, my whole life's going to come crumbling down. No, it's not about crumbling anyone's life down. And making things bad. It's much better to just go look and see what it is and see it for what it is. I assure you, I don't see, if there was any danger or anything like that, I would tell you. I would show you. I would show you and say, oh, watch out. Don't go out on these days here because the gods are angry and they'll strike you down with lightning, or whatever other shit you can put in your imagination that they fed to you in your Bibles and everything, right? I would tell you, because I had those same fears and thoughts as I was going along. As far as using the true creator's energy in order to communicate, travel, do it. I'm just getting used to the whole thing, and it's been a couple of years that I've been already on it, and I'm just getting. Put it this way: I've only got a toe in the water as far as it all goes. I know that. I'm aware of that. There's fear factors that come in, but all the fear factors are from my conscious realm. They're just shit that I learned that I have to now unlearn. I have to learn there's no need to be fearful of this or fearful of that. And that's usually the main thing, is where humans have made it that way. We were told that only the ancient monks can do these certain things. We're told that only millionaires like Trump and geniuses like Jordan Peterson can, have the floor, right? No, we all have the floor because we all are within this one energy. So, matter of fact, if they were to shut down our internet tomorrow, right, or shut down the phones and shut the electricity off, right, you'd all be fucking freaking out. You'd be panicking, and the world is over. Yeah, no, the world is not over. The world has just begun if they do that. If you look at the system, if you go look at what it is I'm trying to show you. Because we can all use the system. We all are tied into it. We're all part of it. So it sounds maybe too easy. Maybe I'm making it sound too easy. It is. It's just that easy. Because all of our lives we've been taught that it was so hard, and you had to be spiritually lifted, and you had to be some ancient priest in order for shit to happen. No. They lied about everything. They're fucking liars. We all are, unfortunately. Anyway, I talked a lot in the last freaking video, and I didn't want to do that. It's like I said, I got a couple filters set up. I'm going to look around, and I'm going to show you guys some shit. I'm going to use the cropping tools. I got to shut some lights off.
If you would have said to me 10 years ago that I'd be having this conversation publicly, first off, that I'd be married, I wouldn't have believed you. That I'd be having kids, I wouldn't have believed you. That I would be willing to talk about this, or even someone that someone else might look to help map it for them, I'd say you were completely insane. This is not really something, I'd rather talk about politics. I'd rather talk about the culture wars and all of these other things.
This is a political issue too, because we're trying to sketch out a pathway, I suppose. I mean, our culture appears to have decided that gay marriage is, well, I don't know if acceptable is the right word. It's become part of the structure of marriage itself. And so now the question is, okay, what does that mean? Hello, everyone. I'm here today with my colleague and my friend, Mr. Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report, a top-ranking online talk show known to many of you. He's an author, comedian, and TV personality best known for his political and cultural commentary. Mr. Rubin began his career, like so many people in the online world, as a stand-up comedian and continues to perform on stage in that guise throughout the US. In an effort to combat big tech censorship, Rubin founded Locals.com, the subscription-based digital platform that empowers creators to be independent by giving them control over their content and data, something we could all use. Dave's first book, Don't Burn This Book, Thinking for Yourself in an Age of Unreason, was a New York Times bestseller. His second book, Don't Burn This Country, Surviving and Thriving in Our Woke Dystopia, was published by Penguin Random House on April 12th, 2022. Dave and I got to know each other first when he was one of the earliest public figures to support my efforts on the fight against compelled speech in Canada and elsewhere. And then more deeply, when he opened for me in 125 cities during my 2018 book tour.
Okay, so this is one that I don't really bring you guys in on much throughout the series. I really hadn't brought anybody in on it all that much, but I'm going to right now. Alright, if I'm in this position, well, to most of you, obviously you think this is, the moon is a big rock in outer space. It's not. So what I will tell you, imagery-wise, at this position where you just look like a bunch of shadows everywhere to you, start looking. It's not just a bunch of shadows. It's all purposeful. It's all purposeful. It's feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast over and over again, from the veil to the ground, the moon included. So there's one in here that looks like, if I can get him in the right position, he looks like the image, the face of the one that we would call Jesus Christ. And I'm going to try to get him in the right angle. I was just trying to do it just a minute ago when I was fucking around, but I didn't have a stick with me. I can crop him as well, but it's pretty cool because I'm trying to get him where his tongue's out.
The propositions I was putting forward, I suppose, was that.
All right, so somewhere around here. So eye, obvious ridge of the nose right here, mouth open, tongue sticking out. You can see the top row of teeth. He's got a hairdo coming around.
Children, not seriously, although your partner, your husband, was more committed.
Okay, and you can see his chin and everything like that. You can see his cheeks. See his cheek here, his cheek over there. It's seeing pretty good. And I can put another filter on and I can get them even better than that. There we go.
Yeah, sure. Well, so David and I...
Okay, so remember that tongue sticking out, right? Of that mouth right there. Remember that one. Because that brings me back to another one of my favorite that I do always bring you guys. Oh, there he is, coming in this way too. Alright, so now I just changed my angle. I went from way over here, now I'm coming over here because I can get him again. That wasn't the angle that I say he looks like Christ. There's another angle for him where his hair looks longer. But I'm going to go for this one because you see his eyes looking over, see the eyeball and the eyeball?
Married for 7 years.
Nose, mouth.
I'm 46 now, so I grew up.
But I like the way his eyeballs are like looking off to, what is that called, stage left? Looking off to camera right, whatever.
It's sort of like a Homer Simpson quote.
But he gets fatter this way, and also you get a little more of his forehead, and his hair changes up when you're at this angle. Because again, angles of perception.
Even though I was attracted
angles of
to men,
perspective,
gay
whatever.
meant something else. Gay meant like you like the theater, or you like to dance, or you like Madonna, or something. And I didn't really care for any of those things, so I really had some distance
now,
between
that tongue and all that. I really like this one. This is one of my favorite ones. Is this one right here, and I'm going to change them to make them go a lot of different ways. But first, I'm going to get you this one.
was nothing.
Okay.
Never talked about gay marriage. You didn't even talk about anything gay. There was nothing.
Nose,
growing up in the 90s,
mouth
there
open,
was no
broken
role model
teeth.
to
Maybe
look
that's
at.
why I like him so much. My teeth are all
The only
fucked up
person
too.
that I ever saw on
Got
television that
a
made
bit
any
of his
sense
chin.
to
I'm
me
gonna
was
go
in
down
two
like this so you
episodes
can see him a
of
little
Golden
better. See
Girls.
him?
Blanche's brother comes
Doing
out as
pretty
gay.
good. There you go.
Marries a
And then I'm
cop.
gonna
This
come
is
back out. I'm gonna change
1991.
my angle again.
NBC
Now, when I
primetime.
come out back
Obviously,
out to
gay
here,
marriage
watch
wasn't
what I'm gonna
legal
do
for
here.
another
See how
30
I'm
years
getting
or
in on this
something.
eye?
But
Because
so I had no role
I'm
models.
at the
I had no
right
nothing. So
angle
I
for
sort of
this
just never
particular
thought about
image. Now
getting
I can
married,
change him
having a
around like
family.
this by changing
Truthfully,
him
and I
like
didn't even
this.
realize this till we were on tour.
And I can change his
I never thought
lips.
of the future.
I can change a
I
lot of
sort of
different
thought of
things
my
in his
present
look,
all the
right?
time.
But now,
And
distance.
then when we were on
Distance.
tour,
Again, keeping an eye on
flash
these
forward
two
to
eyes.
Dave and
Now
I got
watch over
married,
here
and even when
because
we
this
got
eye
married,
is
we
going
never
to transfer
really
over
talked
and you're
about
going to get the whole
having
face
kids
out this
or
way and you're
even
going to
what
get the
family
hairdo up
meant.
here
We knew
and the
we
forehead
love
this
each
way.
other and we
Watch.
have a great time together, and we love the same things. And
There he
I think
is.
in most ways, we bring out the best in each other.
There we go.
Sometimes we bring
So
out the worst
now,
in each other. And
changing my angles up, he goes
John
canine. He goes more canine because he was human,
But
more human
then,
in that
right
angle.
around when we were on
The
tour, so now
eye
this is
widened over to
2018,
here. His face
David
got
started talking
chubbier.
about having kids.
He changes
and we were
up.
texting a lot about it while we were
See?
on tour. And then I'm with you on stage every night, as you said, in 125
He also, that
cities
one
for
has
about a year and
horns
a
too
half.
in a few
And you're
different directions.
constantly
See the horn
talking about
here
the importance
and a
of
horn
family
here?
and
That's
the
his hair up
importance
here.
that for
His
most
hair's
people,
up
this is the
there
way you would always
and he
say
got
it. It's
two
hard
little
to quote
horns
Jordan
coming out of
Peterson
his hair.
exactly, but something to the effect of that
Show
for
ya.
most people to live a fully actualized life, that
Okay, then when I
being a
come in
parent is
tight on the
a
skinny
integral
one,
part
on
of
the
that.
skinnier one,
There's almost no
I believe he
exceptions. to that. You
also
always
has
make a point. There are
horns.
some exceptions. You might
Yeah,
find
but you
them.
have to be exceptional to have an exception to that. So
Yes,
maybe
yes,
it's a third job and career and that sort of service to the
Maybe I'll have
broader
to put a
community,
red
and it's a
filter on
third
to
you're
get the
into
other horns.
relationship, and then it's a third children
All right,
and family.
So
And those proportions
all
can
all
vary,
over the
but
place,
if you
all
miss
imagery.
one
You
of
think
those,
this is
there's
just
a
the
big gap
moon?
to
You
fill,
know,
and
the
maybe
moon
you
that
can
you're
fill
used
it.
to,
You know,
the
if
moon
another
you're
one
used to
of your
seeing.
endeavors has the expansive quality necessary
In your
to
movies
occupy
and
two-thirds
in
of
your
your time,
imagination. I'm
more
giving you
power
the
to
real
you, I
moon that you
suppose,
can all
but
go
it's
look
a
and
big
see for
risk.
yourself, okay?
And so you also told
And
me, Dave, when we were
I'm
talking about
changing
this
my
before,
angles as I'm
that
doing this because I know
you
where
started to
everything
think
is
about
now and I
being
know where the
older as
angles are,
well.
so
And
I might make
suppose
this look a little
then
easier
that with
than
your
it actually
concentration
is.
on
So
the
if you go
present
get
and
a
the lack
camera
of
to
role
use as a
models,
viewing
that there was no
device,
real vision for what it
you can
might
do
be
the
like
same
to
thing. Alright, so looking
to
off in the
grow old in
direction
the
of my
gay
arrow,
community, I
eye,
suppose.
Yeah, and it's
eye,
funny. The gay
nose,
community,
mouth
I hate
open.
that phrase. I know,
I know.
He
even
ends
as
up
you said
having
it, it's
hair
like
and
it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't
here and
think
all
of you
that
as part
too.
of the straight community.
Right.
Now
It's
I
just
could
one of
pull
these
out the
things when you say
cropper,
these
and
things, we
I
never know
will.
exactly why we're
Maybe
saying
not
them.
even today,
But I
but
didn't
maybe
have
another
that role
day.
model. I didn't have
Alright,
that.
so
There was
next
no
to him,
map. There
It's
really
the
wasn't.
brotherhood of the marginalized.
I guess that's a
there's
group I
this
could be
one
part of.
too
But
that's
yeah,
right
was
next to him.
in
Let's
some
see if
bizarre
I can
sense.
go for this one next.
But even that is sort of nauseating.
Okay,
I
so
guess.
he's gonna change his ways.
But so
This
we're on
one's
tour
also, I'm gonna
together,
kinda like start
and
here and then go up. That's
David's
usually what I
texting me, and we're
do.
going back and we're talking on the phone and we're FaceTiming, and it just keeps coming up, and you keep talking about this on stage. And
Okay, right here.
on top of everything else, I'm meeting all of the people
Eye,
attending the
eye,
shows. And you know this,
nose,
the
and
amount of
mouth.
people that were in new families
try to get an
or
angle
that
on.
the wife was pregnant for the first time. And I'm seeing the joy on these people's faces. All of this is hitting me. And then you keep saying this thing that for most people they have to do it. But there are these exceptions.
And then I'll say too, reverse telescope, the standard telescope, it is fun to go back and forth with that too. You know, in the background, where's my arrow? In the background, you still see him, this guy, in a couple different directions as well too. But here comes this one. He's starting to creep over the thing now.
And because the map wasn't there, the road map just wasn't there, I started going, man, I really have to think about this now. And
So here's this one too, since I'm already here and I'm at the right angle for him. Get my arrow in here. Eye, nice eye matching with the nose right here, mouth open right here of a very large image. The edge of his face is right here. He's got an eye here and an eye here, working with that same one also, right underneath it. See, if I go down like this. Also, the Sea of Tranquility, when my camera is angled and everything, when I first started noticing all this and finding all this same thing, it was accidental. I tilted my camera in, and then all of a sudden I started seeing all the faces in here. And you'll see them all traced out. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'll try to do a good job if I don't get too frustrated with all the bullshit story. Kind of like the one that I was showing you guys
someone else
Where
might
is
look
it?
to help map it for them, I'd say you were completely
The other day I was
insane.
showing you guys a
This is
few
not
different
really
ones.
something
I'll
that,
flip the
I'd rather
screen
talk
in
about
order to do
politics,
it.
I'd rather talk about the
You know, this
culture
is
wars
important.
and all
Well,
of these other things.
this is a political
But
issue
it's
too,
yes.
because we're trying to sketch out a pathway, I suppose. I mean, our culture appears to have decided that gay marriage is, well, I don't know if acceptable is the right word. It's become part of the structure of marriage itself. And so now the question is, okay, what does that mean?
Amazing,
and
man.
It certainly
Fucking
opens
amazing.
up the question on the
Okay,
because
snout, nose,
I mean, in
mouth
some ways,
open.
marriage is the union of two people, but in a possibly more fundamental way, it's the union of two people to provide the foundation.
Many
for
images
children.
in here
And
as
I would
well,
say
with the
that's actually
eye,
paramount.
nose, mouth
I mean,
open
our
here,
society tends
with
to
the
flip
big,
that
large
around, and we
forehead,
tend
and
to
then when I
think of
come up the
marriage as
top,
something that,
there are
well, you
several
find the partner right for you and you
black
live happily ever after.
African
Well,
American.
no, not
I think they're
exactly.
African American.
Or
African, I should
maybe
say.
exactly if you also understand that living
But there's
happily ever
one that's
after
going to come in here, but it might
means
not be
living for other
so
people
good on
in
this
many
one. We see.
ways, particularly your children. And so,
And then there's
of course,
always
that
the
complicates
one.
the issue on the gay marriage
I'm
front
barely
because,
getting
as we're going to
him
talk
on
about,
that one.
it's also more technically difficult to have children if you're a homosexual
Where
couple.
was
Right,
he?
so if you
It's
take
gonna
just
be.
the marriage part first, meaning that two people are going to choose to share their life and live together, share a bed, et cetera, et cetera. I would say culturally in America, we kind of moved past that. I mean, Trump ran, he's the first
Okay, so this
time
is the
president. He
one
was
that
on
has a
stage
full
with the
body
rainbow
image.
flag. It was,
I'll get back to
and
the
nobody cared, or no, I shouldn't
this
say
one
nobody
and the
cared,
other
but
one in a minute.
enough people felt, okay,
The one I was
let
explaining
people
the
live
other
the way
day.
they want
She got two sets of
to put
titties.
this
She's got
down
little
and
cone
move
titties and
ahead.
she got the little flat
But you're
chest
right,
titties.
that marriage
Her arm goes back this
has
way
to
and
do
she's
with
holding
something
her
else.
tail.
Otherwise,
She's got a
the
waist and it
word
comes down to
marriage
some of her
wouldn't mean
legs,
anything. It's
and
like
I will
nobody
get the
really
tail
cares
in
if
even
you
better
live with your
too.
friend for the rest
And
of your life, or you live
many
with a man or a
faces
woman.
work with this body.
People do this all the time in
And
life, and it doesn't
it's pretty
really
cool
matter.
because
So
she's
what
got.
really is the purpose
Try to get it
of
for you.
really
Let's see.
living with somebody and really being with somebody and sharing your life with somebody is to build something
You're
lasting,
gonna go
something
sideways
that I
this
think
way.
something that you've learned and know
All this
and
ends up being the
taught, and that you
flowing
can
hair
hand that on
in
to the
one
next
thing,
generation, and
in
hopefully
one
they can
direction,
attain
and in one
retain
angle.
some of that.
Her face looks funny right now. It looks like cartoonish, but I got three other angles for her face that you can see the femininity in her face at the other angles. I'll get them. I'm not really worried about it. I'm just kind of looking around at this particular video at the moment.
Gametes.
Yeah, she's over here.
Partly because to ensure variability and to stop the
Maybe a red
propagation of
filter,
parasites.
too.
That's why we don't clone. But there's that mixing as well tends to ensure
Let's see if I
that
do it this way.
deviations from genetic health are minimized. And so the same thing happens on the psychological front, I would say, is that each person has their own idiosyncrasies, and some of those lead them down the garden path to terrible places. But if you're with someone else and you have to negotiate with them constantly, then that opens up the possibility of you mutually modifying each other's personalities so that you both become healthier and that your joint existence.
Okay, I know what I
is a
gotta
kind
do.
of,
I
be
gotta
a
turn my
paragon of
camera
sorts, and
around on
then
my.
that's what the child interacts with, is that united front of the two parents.
Right.
And so you get that longevity of view, which I think helps to mature.
Okay, what I did was I
but
flipped
you
my
also
camera
get the
upside down so that I can
opportunity
get right up to
become
the screen.
more fully fledged as a
Because that was
psychological
another
being. And then I think that's furthered as
little
well.
trick of
I've
the
often
trade.
thought and said this, and I do believe it's true. It's very, very difficult to mature until you have children. And there are other ways of maturing, but it's hard. And the reason it's hard,
This
I think,
one's pretty
is
cool.
because
This is a large
you're not
one.
mature
I wouldn't have been able to show you
until
the other
someone
day, but
else
it's pretty
is
cool.
more important
Takes
than
up a
you.
big area of the moon.
And
Big eye.
it's
The
possible
other
that
big
would happen
eye.
with your
The
wife,
snout
your
is right
husband,
here. He's in the canine family.
but not like
Mouth
with
right
children.
here.
Well, I've been
You
thinking
can
about
see
that.
the forehead
So,
and the
we're about
head
to have
come
our first
around.
child in a month, and I've been
Try to
thinking
get him
about that
for
a
you.
lot lately. Like, it's
But he's
just
got it,
something
you
that's
can see his
constantly
ears
stirring
and
in my head,
everything
and
too when I
feel
get the
like
right
I've
angle.
sort of gotten to the end of where I can get mature in my maturation process not that I can't change or get better at this or
Alright,
that or
back to
something,
her.
but I do feel like I'm at the end of
I
one
think she's
phase
gonna be
right
right
now.
about
I
there
very
somewhere is the best
much
place
feel
for
that, and I
her.
think I'm feeling it more and more each day as we get closer to August
Might have to crop
22nd,
her.
which is the due date. But the first part, you can take, whether it's a straight relationship or a gay relationship, the dance that a couple can do and the way that they can
No, great.
mature each other and love each other and all of those things, that's
Fucking
one
bitch.
thing. But the piece with the kids, with building
What a
this
fucking
sustainable
bitch.
thing, it's not something that has been proven in society yet, really. There obviously are gay couples
Still going?
with kids.
Yeah.
And this has been happening for decades. But
Alright, let's
it
see if I
really
can get
is
her
sort of
this way.
unseen at the moment, which is why we wanted to have this conversation. And I was like, boy, I don't even know that. In some ways, I don't know that I'm the person
Yeah, I need
that's
to
supposed
take
to have this
out
conversation, but maybe
his
that's
other
exactly
eye.
why I'm
Well, we're
supposed to
both
have this
exploring it.
conversation.
Leave
We're
the
trying to figure
arm
it out. I
in.
mean,
Don't
talk,
get her like that.
maybe we can talk
Yeah.
about exactly how it came to be that you'll have a baby in your household in 6 weeks. Talk about what you had to do to make that happen and why you made the decisions that you made and what advantages and hazards come along with that.
Sure. So first, technically, because there are biological differences between men and women, I don't want to get us canceled on YouTube, but it actually is true, Jordan. We could not biologically have kids, so just ourselves. So we talked about adoption for a little bit. We did. We both felt that the genetic component.
Okay, and I'll make a note and see if I can get her better with the red filter. I don't want to jump into it now
we thought
because
we'd have 2 kids. That was the general thought process at the beginning. And we thought
I don't
we
have
could,
enough minutes
take
left on
some
here
of
to
my
really
sister's
fuck around.
eggs, and she's a mother now. She's actually.
But again, the cropping tools are cool because look,
But then we could get her eggs. And
they're
then
good
take
for
those
anybody that
for
wants to get rid of the
2
collage
children.
effect that's going to happen.
After a long time of talking about a year, debating that back and forth and going through all that, there were a lot of ethical and moral issues, and my sister then would be the biological mother of my children. I mean, there were all sorts of things that we were about to traverse.
Right, and that's all uncharted territory, right?
All sorts of, yeah.
You think you know how that might go, and you think
Unbelievable.
you know how it might go if you have goodwill, but that does not mean that you know how it will go.
And I have to say, even that conversation, having that conversation with my sister, who was interested in, when we came to her, she was sort of flattered and honored that we were even considering it. But then, we said, why don't you sit with this for a little bit? And then suddenly she had a lot of those questions, and she was concerned if, she shows up to the birthday party and then feels this odd jealousy, or what if she suddenly wasn't happy with the way that we were parenting,
Right,
or
that's a big one.
or a litany of other things. So even going through that, and this obviously is not the way that we ultimately went about it, even that was sort of a maturation process, and what are we really trying to do here? So anyway, ultimately we decided to find an egg donor. I mean, basically, it sounds sort of glib or something, but it's sort of like Tinder. I mean, there are these websites that exist where the egg donors are on the site, and we tried
let's
to
go
find
for this
a couple.
guy.
I didn't really care that much about the pedigree in terms of did they go to an Ivy League school or anything like that. We wanted to find a girl who obviously was physically healthy, most importantly, that didn't have major issues in terms of genetics and all that sort of stuff. And we thought that sort of looked like the type of girl.
So this is the one on a couple of videos ago I was talking about. Now I can get him to go in a lot of different ways, but in order to do so, I got to move the camera around and everything. So I'm going to pull him back to where I think I can get a gist of it for you. Alright, so remember the chain coming down from the neck. I cannot explain except me seeing what I want to see. I see the faces in there. I know it's image within image, and I know there's other faces in there. But when I find the right angle and I find the right
to donate their eggs, and I hear a lot of people. We talked about this. There's this criticism of somehow that you're buying the egg and you're renting the woman.
to get his face in, because right now his face doesn't look human. His face ends up looking.
I can tell you, having gone through this process, previous
feline canine.
They were also, we were doing a lot of this during COVID.
Trying to get him.
During COVID, there were all sorts of
The best ones to get his face is going to be down low against the screen again. I'm going to try it here.
They don't know exactly. They'll have to study this for years in terms of what actually happened.
Alright, so again, shoulder, other shoulder. I don't see anything further than that. Might be a little bit of arm going on in there. I don't know, but I only see shoulders. And there is some cut to his chest. He's got a barrel chest. at the angle. I'm gonna try to find it for you. Just give me a minute. In the face up here, of course, eye, nose, and mouth. But right now, he's not even in the human categories. He's.
The surrogates that
I gotta find him.
Actually, one of them had a gay brother. I mean, there were all sorts
And it might be that when I go over to the other
gift there is, but
reverse telescope,
science and genetics and all that, it leads us to this thing, which I think is the heart of what we're trying to talk about here, which is, so we're going to be a family with two fathers. And
there we go.
And what does that really
yeah,
look
so I gotta
like?
be right on the screen.
To just say, okay, gay people should have kids. Or gay people should get married and gay people should have kids.
It's easy to say a lot of things.
It's easy to say an awful lot of things.
As you said, it's not that easy for a gay couple to have kids.
Right,
It's very complicated.
So putting aside if you're going to go to surrogacy, we're putting aside all the finances and all of that stuff that eliminates an awful lot of people from even being able to do it. Fortunately, we're able to do it, okay? But now it gets us to the real part here, which is that now we're going to live in a household with two fathers. There's going to be no mother involved, and what does that really mean?
Right, well,
and I understand some of the reservations.
Well,
there, yeah.
Well, so we do know.
Okay, I just got his face to go human in that direction.
Who are breastfed do better.
Yep.
I believe that 1 year of breastfeeding is equivalent to. I think breastfed kids have a 5-point IQ advantage. And
right there, I think, is more the Indian guy, the Eastern Indian look on the face.
To industrial freezers full of breast milk.
Right.
So David has done all the research on this.
Right. So another complication, but okay. And so we don't have data. We don't really have data on motherless children raised by fathers from infancy, right? Because it's pretty rare. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's literature pertaining to that at all. We do have literature
36 minutes.
Mother-headed families without fathers, and the data there are crystal clear. It's not good to be
I just took the filter off. I'm going to change filters.
There are some women who are struggling mightily as single mothers who don't do an outstanding job.
The red filter, I guess.
Absolutely and 100% means that on average,
I like the red
that's
filter.
Suboptimal and badly suboptimal. And so it seems to me that the minimal stable requirement for ensuring the psychological health and financial viability of a child is something like a nuclear family structure.
Yes.
Minimally, right? So you need a mother and a father, or at least you need two people, mm-hmm. one who plays a maternal role and one who plays a paternal role, or that they split those. Two seems to be better than one. Now, how much of that's linked to sex, we also don't know. You know, it seems that the feminine role is more accepting / nurturing. You see that with the proclivity of women to be more agreeable temperamentally. That kicks in at puberty. And so I think that you have to be accepting and nurturing, especially in your attitude towards infants before they're mobile. Mm-hmm. So say before 6 months, before 9 months, an infant does no wrong. It's 100% acceptance. The problem with that is that that's not true as the child develops.
We're just kind of doing the same thing I did when I started. This is almost the end of the video. So I'm just going in on all the same ones.
Encourages that development. Now mothers can do that too,
mm-hmm.
but roughly speaking, women tend to do the nurturing thing more and men do the encouraging thing more. So now the question is, how do you mediate? How do you manage
and then that other one right
those
there.
roles in the absence of heterosexual arrangement?
Right. So now naturally we understand that there are men who are more nurturing and women who aren't as nurturing and all of those things. Now you know David pretty well, and we've been out to dinner with Tammy many times.
Yeah.
And you know him. He is incredibly warm and nurturing and loving and deeply cares about all of those things. And I'm telling you, he is reading about skin-to-skin contact every day and all of the breast milk stuff and everything. And I know he will have a huge percentage of the stuff that a mother would bring. But I also know it's not all of it.
Well,
and
also,
he knows it's
the
not
other
all
thing
of it.
too is that you guys have to do that consciously.
Yes.
Right? With with research in hand, and to build up that proclivity that would be there more automatically, arguably, with a mother and all the psychological and hormonal transformations she undergoes and that transition into breast milk production and all of that, which is a fundamental transformation in a woman's biology and her psyche. Now, you and David have ample resources at hand, financially and intellectually, that enable you to traverse this pathway as well as anyone is likely to do it. But it is very interesting and salutary to hear you also talk about the complications. So on the feminine side, let's say, you think you have the nurturance angle well covered. You talked to me a little bit about having women around in your infant and child's life as well.
Yeah, so David's mom is going to be living with us for a few months at the start, as well as his sister, who's taken care of young babies already. Had I not maybe been on tour with you and come to some of these realizations, or found someone in the world that I wanted to put their needs above my own, that I could have been left to a life that would have been sort of purely narcissistic or self-destructive or anything. You know, I used to live
I don't see how that, in some sense, I don't see how that can be. There can be
okay, upside down to your eyes is this other guy we're going to go for next.
Yes.
But I want you to keep an eye. This eye, that nose, that mouth. Remember the tongue hanging out? It goes for all these different things, right? Alright, it's going to be for a guy that's going to be upside down. But I don't think I'm going to do it like this. I could do it like this. I guess I can come over. I'm going to come over this way and do it.
But then when, we lived in West Hollywood.
See his
West
face?
Hollywood is the gayest place on earth.
Same one I showed you the other day. Many faces. But I'm going to do a flip on the screen anyway before I do that.
That all they had, basically, was that they worked out,
amazing,
they spray tanned
man.
and got hair plugs, they
Fucking
had their little
amazing.
dogs, and they partied on the weekends and probably chased the same sexual escapades that they were chasing 40 years ago.
And
it's not a
sustained
life.
adolescence.
Yeah, and it's not a full life. And I actually, it's
big
like,
canine face,
I have almost like a
eye,
visceral feeling when I talk about
nose,
it,
and
'cause I know
snout,
that
mouth
could have been
open.
me. So when I see these people that either at this point are against gay marriage, but in general, there don't seem to be that many voices.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them in there. I just figured I'd point it out.
So
Human
here's a rough
face. This
question.
one
So
here is
do
a
you
big
think
human face. Eye,
both the
eye,
flamboyance,
nose,
now,
and
I
mouth
want
down
to get
there.
into this in some detail, but the flamboyance that's been historically associated with the male homosexual community, sorry about that, and the promiscuity. Do you think, to what degree do you think that both of those are a consequence of not having a more integrated and conservative path potentially open?
See the eye out in there looking out at you? See the eye, nose, mouth?
That probably will never be fully explained. If people don't have an ability... Look, what was the gay rights movement for in the 70s in New York City and Stonewall and all of those things? It was, these people just wanted, they wanted to be able to get married. That was part of it. But it was also that they wanted to be able to go to a bar.
Okay, so this one anyway, body imagery. You got the chest, the belly, barrel chest, bellies.
Because they were getting raided by the police, and this was going on. Obviously,
and his face is right here. You get three different faces. One of them
but they wanted some sense of normalcy.
is that one, the laughing one with the broken tooth.
Little seeds of normalcy, then they will do all sorts of things. So the flamboyant part, there's two parts you're asking about. So the flamboyant part, I'm just not built that way. I'm not. Sometimes I used to.
Okay, here comes the other eye. See, it looks like when I'm down here, you're looking at this dark. Fuck my stick.
Because to me it was like.
Okay, when you're down this way, it's hard making out the other eye, right? It looks like the glasses are down below this other set of eyes because the glasses are going to be used as a set of eyes in another direction. Notice that all the triangulars everywhere also, by the way. So when I creep up a little bit and find my angle, I can see the eye over there, eye. Yeah. Okay, while I'm here, since I'm here, this is that image I was pointing out the other day with the face up here, the shoulders feminine. See the breast, low hanging breast, and then if I go in tight, I can come up and I can get a rather, she got a higher set of breasts than the lower ones. She's a full body image, all the way down to the feet. Legs, feet, everything, all the way up. And she is right about there somewhere. I can get her much better. I can get her face and clear and everything like that. Where is she? Okay, but anyways, my point is that when I come in on her, a bird beak, I'm pretty sure, and then someone might be able to identify this bird. Birds are just flying rodents as far as I'm concerned anyway, but they're very rare. Very rarely do you see any bird in the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast considered them a flying rodent. But anyway, it's got this little bit of feathery shit on its head, the eyeball's right there and the beak's right here. It's looking off in that direction.
Who knows what happens if you're
Her
not
face
allowed,
here,
so to speak, to be
pretty
who
cool
you are,
because you got this face
then
here.
it
It's like
strikes me as highly
a little
probable
scene
that
almost, you know,
an
because
excessive
you got
amount of
several different faces coming
rebelliousness
on
is
here.
going to
Let's
start
go
to
on a
look
little further.
attractive, right? And maybe to be indistinguishable from courage. I would say it's got to be the case that the
So my
whole,
distance on the
so to
bird
speak,
is like
of
right
the
around
more
here.
enlightened
And the
conservative
bird
types
might even have some
who were
body
willing to
imagery
open the door
too
to gay
as
marriage
well. I
was
just
that
don't know birds
by
enough
bringing
to
those relationships
even
inside
know,
the
you know, if
traditional
this is all
fold,
part of it.
then
I'm pretty
things would
sure. It looks
normalize.
like
Yeah.
And that
a
there would be
bird
a
that I've
promotion
seen
of
sometime in
something
my
like
life with that on
stable,
its head
mature,
and
responsible,
that beak and
long-term
everything. I don't know.
monogamy.
Well, I think maybe I'm trying to prove that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to prove
Yeah,
it like
really
I'm
cool up
setting
here
out
though.
to prove it,
This
but
is
I
not it.
suppose
I can
the
keep
fact
going
that
back and
because
forth
of
and I can
my
get you
life,
from
I'm
all
trying to-
angles.
I mean, in a weird way,
But it's better if
although
I
I'm probably
turn
the
the
unlikeliest of
image around the
conservatives
other
in that
way
sense. It's
as I
like,
do
what
that.
life am I trying to live? I'm
Because
trying
I'll
to
pull
live a
light
life
in a
that
different
is
way is
somewhat
why.
conservative in nature, in that sense, meaning that I believe
Look at
that
his face,
family
pretty
is
cool.
important and probably
So
the most
eye,
important thing after individuals.
nose,
That's how
right
society
there,
is built. I
and the mouth right
fundamentally
here. You
believe
can
that.
see its teeth.
So it's
It's got
weird.
the
It's like
hairdo and everything going
my
up.
worldview.
And the
Because
thing I
otherwise, what are you
like
saying
about
to
this
people?
is
So,
that,
okay,
see this
gay.
line right
So you
here?
can either
That's one of
just
the timelines that I'm
endlessly
telling
have
you
sex
about.
or
They're all over the
endlessly
fucking place.
disregard every
There's these
law known
timelines,
to
you can
man,
call them. They start
and
from
just
here and they
have
come down.
nothing other
Now, I
than
don't
wake up
remember
and
what
just
the
live your life how
heliocentric
you
bullshit
want.
story
What
was
other
for all
way
this,
is
because
there
that's supposed to be
integrate
the
into
sea of
society?
tranquility
To
in here,
really
as far as I
integrate into
remember.
society. I mean, to me, this is it.
But see all
Well, I
these
think
lines
that's why
coming
the
off of it
culture did take
that come
the
down like
decision
this,
it
you know?
took, which was to open the doors.
Yeah,
And say, now,
those
we
are the
talked
fucking
about that. I want to get
timelines.
into that too,
And
because
I don't know exactly how it all
the
works yet, but I believe that the
we have
Aztecs or
this
somebody
notion that's
before
rife in
us
our
definitely
culture, let's
knew,
say, that's insisted
in the
upon
old
that all
generation,
families
somebody
are
knew.
equal. And
That's my time.
I understand